Visha Manjral, Senior Journalist at Food Ingredients First, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Christopher Callanan, Global Licensing Lead at Mondelēz, which has recently entered into a licensing agreement with Arla Foods, allowing the dairy cooperative to produce, distribute, and market chocolate milk under the Mondelēz-owned Milka brand. Thank you for joining us, Christopher.
It's a pleasure, Avisha. Nice to be here.
Okay, just to start off, what are some of the key consumer trends you're observing in the food and beverage industry, particularly in the confectionery sector?
Sure. Across the globe, we're seeing a number of trends emerge fairly consistently. So there's a shifting demographic that's been the case for a few years, a middle class expansion, younger consumer cohorts increasing their power and their reach, particularly through social media, and increased urbanization. We're also seeing, as a consequence of those, increasingly fluid lifestyles with consumers. We refer to that as snackification. So a growth of convenience, a growth of on the go, but also in-home snacking, taking over more from traditional meals. Lastly, post-COVID, there's a big resurgence in experience economy. So for consumers, it's really important how brands tell their stories, what novel experiences brands can provide, and how special things feel, even the small. These are important to consumers more than ever, and they really apply to confectionery and snacking categories, obviously, more than ever before.
Thanks for sharing that. And speaking of your recent partnership, what consumer insights and findings influenced the decision to launch Milka chocolate milk in Germany, Austria, and Poland?
Again, we see those fluid lifestyle choices of consumers really being important here, that snackification trend. So it plays a big role. People want little treats. They want brief moments of joy. They want brief moments of indulgence, and they want them in a convenient format. We know Milka is a beloved brand in Germany, Austria, and Poland. And so it makes sense for us to be able to provide Milka's indulgence and unique, loved characteristics in the chiller as well. We've been delighted with the early sales data and the consumer response on social media. So it feels like the right thing to do.
Great. Can you also share more details about the sustainability practices incorporated in the production of this product, also in terms of packaging and ingredient sourcing?
Sure. So sustainability, it's incredibly important for us at Mondelēz, so much so that we've made it one of our four strategic pillars globally as a total business. We're really active in the space. So for example, in ingredients, our Cocoa Life program, it's all about achieving sustainable and deforestation-free cocoa of this vital crop. And in a way that benefits not just the environment, but also the farmers who grow it. By 2025, 100% of all Milka will be made with beans sourced from the Cocoa Life program. And that will apply to the Milka in Milka chocolate milk as much as it would apply to a chocolate bar as well. On packaging, you asked about that as well. We work hard to use packaging that does more than just protect our products. And so when we choose licensees to look after our cherished brands, we try and ensure that we have partners in the categories we're not expert in who also share our ethos on this. So we know that Arla, for example, are using recycled PET in their bottles, and they're using a PET format that is part of the German deposit return scheme.
That's great to know. Thank you. And what marketing and distribution strategies are being employed to promote Milka chocolate milk in the target markets? And how do you plan to measure success?
So when we license our cherished brands to another company, we're really clear that we're only going to partner with companies that have both the marketing credentials to work on something as precious as a brand like Milka, but also then have the strong selling capability to bring those products to life for the shopper in store. We firmly believe that Arla are capable in both these aspects, and you're starting to see in public now the quality of the advertising and the reach that Arla's advertising is having, but also the distribution in stores across Germany, Austria, and Poland. That merged with the consumer response we're seeing gives us great confidence that this is going to be a winner. In terms of what winning means, well, one of the things that matters to us when we enter a new category is our market share. So we're really working with Arla to deliver revenue, but more importantly, the market share of the category. And we believe they're the right partner to do that with us. in Germany, Poland, and Austria.
That's really interesting to know. Thank you. And speaking of larger trends, sugar reduction is a leading trend in food and beverages right now, including the confectionery space. What are your thoughts on this trend?
Sure. Look, this is definitely a trend, and I mentioned earlier that younger, more informed consumer cohort being overall something that's impacting food. What consumers are telling us is that they really value the ability to make informed choices. Consumers know that chocolate will have sugar in. They know that chocolate is an indulgence, and they say that's okay. What really matters to them is understanding how much sugar, and that comes back to things like clear labeling and being very transparent. So when we choose partners to license our products with, they have to share our values in terms of transparency of labeling and in terms of informing consumers and letting consumers make those informed choices. Snacking and that snackification trend is something that means that consumers are making more choices per day than maybe 50 years ago. And so what really matters to them is they make those choices in an informed manner. On the product side, we know that the Arla standards on added sugar are really tight, and that's another reason why we're happy to partner with them.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.